All right. Welcome live streaming from Florida with these bad ass palm trees. Welcome. Thanks for joining SDR Q&A. Hopefully I got it right this time with live streaming to all the platforms. I don't know. I'm just kind of figuring out as we go. But hopefully everybody is well. Carla, welcome. Drop your questions in the comments, and I will be answering those momentarily. So let me jump over to some questions that we had. Man, look at these bad boys. All right, so let's see. Chat. Let me know if everybody can hear me. Okay? Yep. Thank you for the comment there. There we go. Let me show this to everybody. Yeah. Thank you, Benjamin. Appreciate the love. All right, Carla, what's up? Welcome. All right, let's get rock and rolling. So, let me know if everybody can hear me. Just put in the chat one. So we've got some solid questions today. We'll jump right in. First one: what kind of insurance do I need for my Airbnb? I think that's probably. I actually had a student ask me that today. We're gonna go through that. 2, what amenities should I provide to guests? I think the bigger question is what amenities should you not provide to guests? 3, what do you charge your commission on? Also got this question. And then tax remitting for direct bookings, number 4. If anybody has any questions, drop them below, and then you might kind of skip some of these. All right, what kind of insurance do I need for my Airbnb? Great question. So there's multiple levels to this. We call it the layers of protection. So what I mean by that is, I think the easiest one to think about is your homeowner's insurance. That's like when people think of insurance and liability for short-term rental is when you have 300 guests in there a year, protecting your assets, right? Making sure you're not getting sued, doing all that. So homeowner's insurance, making sure it is STR approved. What I mean by that is some homeowner insurance, even some landlord policies don't cover short-term rentals. So making sure it is approved for short-term rental. I've heard some insurance providers actually ask, like, what is the average length of stay for these listings? Like, it will be more for like 7 nights versus 3 nights. So making sure your homeowner's insurance, get it in writing. I can't say that enough. Making sure it's STR approved. 2 of my most popular, or the most common ones, are Proper Insurance and Foremost. I would say majority of our clients probably use Proper or Foremost. Proper is like the gold standard. They're pretty expensive, but I've heard their coverage is really good. The support and all that is really good as well. Proper, and then Foremost, it's maybe a Geico product or a Farmer's product. Both of those should cover your short-term rental. So that's kind of first layers is your homeowner's insurance policy. Now, when I think of kind of protection, I think more along the lines of when a guest damages something, how do we get these recouped? I think that's it's a common thing. Somebody spills some wine on the couch. Somebody breaks an end table for whatever reason. Somebody sits on the end of a coffee table and snaps a leg. Those are common things. That's more of like the accidental damage insurance. You don't want to use your homeowner's insurance because you got to pay a deductible and your premiums will likely go up for using it. This accidental damage insurance is no deductible, and you're not penalized for actually using it. So it covers like the oh crap moments. Like, I've broken things in Airbnbs. It happens. It's not neglect or misuse. It's just, getting back whole is the goal there. So a couple recommendations: Guesty Protection is very good. There's like Superhog, Safely, Wavo. Those are kind of the top industry standard ones. We use Guesty Protection for so much. And then third, and the reason I mentioned it third is because I think it is the worst one and it doesn't really cover you at all. It's great. They market it well. It's Airbnb Air Cover. So I can't remember the last time we've actually used Air Cover, but we did have an incident where an accident happened in the house, and Air Cover actually covered it. So we didn't want to use the homeowner's insurance. It wasn't accidental damage because it was like personal injury, but Air Cover actually came in, paid their medical bills, covered us. We were good to go. It took probably 6 months to get an answer, but it at least covered us under that scenario. I think that's probably the last time we've been forced to use it. So it covers like liability, some other things. There's some help articles on it, but those are kind of the 3 types of protections and insurance. We can do a whole nother Q&A on LLCs. Do you need to own the property in LLC? Yada, yada, yada. We'll save that for another day. All right, Carla, can you share tips to help with pricing strategy and what ways to help boost traffic to a property? So I actually I wrote an entire SOP that covers one freeway in the buy sell Facebook groups to help get free traffic to your property. Let's see, did I set this up right? Scan that QR code, jump in there. It is in the I can put it in chat once I figure it out. I can't remember the exact module that's in, but there is something called a Facebook buy sell trade group strategy. I didn't create it, but I've used it a decent amount and it does work. So Carla, great question. So that will help essentially putting your listing in these buy sell trade groups and driving free traffic to your either direct booking site, Airbnb or Vrbo, or wherever you're listed. Can you share tips on help pricing strategies? So actually, I answered this one in a free way to do it last Q&A. You can go back and watch that video, but you can go to Airbnb, like the enemy method, and essentially, let me see if I can. I don't have the right tabs open, but you can go and essentially track what other people are priced at. So I think the enemy method is one. Essentially, it's a free and easy way to go and see what other people are pricing at. That'll usually, I usually like to have like 1 or 2 of the closest comps and go and just track them. If they're priced at $300 a night, and let's say mine has less amenities, one less amenity, I'm pricing at like $270 a night. So I'm competing with them, but I'm kind of watching them from afar. So it works very well. But I usually have like 1 or 2 per property that I'm closely watching. Pricing strategies. So enemy method, and then Price Labs is what I would consider like the medium / advanced level, where setting up Price Labs, it's a dynamic pricing software. Essentially, if you guys not familiar with it, like when you go book a flight, right? The prices fluctuate every day. Apparently Tuesdays are the lowest prices for flights. But if you get it, a week ahead of time, it's probably inflated a little bit because there's not that many seats on the plane available. So they're like, okay, there's 3 seats available. Let's charge a premium on top of that. It does the exact same thing for your short-term rental. I think it's probably the most important and most underutilized tool in your entire tool belt is Price Labs or Wheelhouse or Beyond, whichever one you use. But within Price Labs specifically, in the neighborhood data, so if you go into your, I might get a little nerdy on you, I apologize, but if you go into your Price Labs dashboard, there's a tab called neighborhood data. You can actually pick your competitors. You can pick like 10, and then you can see each individual night what exactly is their price and which what are they booking at. So it'll like be X'd out. If they got the booking at 270, that means if I'm at 270, I'm a little less. I should be probably priced at like 250, 240. So that's probably the easiest way to do it. It does take a little bit of setup, and and looking at data, but it's probably the best way to do that. All right, Carla, if you have any follow-ups to that, please drop them in the comment. All right. Benjamin Trusted, look at you. I love your tips. All right, you're awesome. Got any tips for short-term taxes? Whew, I am not an accountant, and this is not accounting advice, but tips for short-term, the STR loophole is probably the biggest one. I don't fully know it offhand, but essentially you have to do a couple check marks of like, you got to materially participate, aka manage your own property, and I think your average length of stay has to be like below 7 days or something, and then you can get it's a STR loophole. Just Google STR loophole. It goes into way more depth than what I just did, but I would say that's probably the biggest one. Bonus depreciation is another very big one that, depending on, doesn't matter whose side you're on for politics, they're talking about bringing 100% bonus depreciation back, which allows essentially, if you get a cost segregation study, you can write off 100% of that cost seg study, the bonus depreciation, off in year one versus having to break it down in multiple years. So it saves you a ton on your tax bill. Talk to your accountant, obviously. Depreciation is another big one. You can depreciate your property for 27 and a half years. So 1/27th of your property value you can write off. So let's say, I don't have a, kind of going off the cuff here, let's say buy a property for $425, you can write off, I don't know, whatever 1/27th of that is. Let's see, 425, maybe like 15 grand. So you can, if you, there's once again some additional line items that definitely check, but if you can check all those boxes, let's say you make 100 grand and you can write off 15 grand, on paper you only made 85. It's like a, accountants call it something fancy. It's I'm blanking on the name, but that's an easy way to maximize your tax benefits. With these investment properties, it just unlocks you for so many more write-offs. Great question, Benjamin, aka the hater. Carla, thanks. Can you reshare QR code? Yes. Give me one sec. Jump in our free community. I'm adding to that almost daily. It's something new. We've got like 25 hosts in there already, and I just started talking about it like last week. So there's a free program in there. It's called Launchpad. It's freaking awesome. I share probably way too much. I had one person say you need to charge for this. So go ahead and jump in there. Carla, hopefully you scanned it, because it is going away. All right, what other questions we got? Drop your questions in the comments and I will answer them live. So we talked about homeowner, or type of insurance do you need for your Airbnb? A little chilly out here. What amenities should I provide to guests? I think this is a really, really important one that I got this week. Question that I got. What amenities should I provide? And really, what amenities should you not provide? I think that's probably a bigger question mark. When we take on a new property, we'll do what we call like a rent-ready consult. We'll just go to the property and walk it like a guest would. Some of the most common things that I've seen is dining room tables. So if your property accommodates 10 guests, ideally you want to have 10 seats around the dining room table. I know people that specifically will not book a property if they don't have enough accommodation around the dining room table that they don't have to eat in shifts. That is, I can't remember where I heard that, maybe on a podcast, but don't make your guests eat in shifts. What I mean by that is if you accommodate 10 people, your table only seats 5, then you got to have 2 shifts. You got 5 people in eating, and then 5 more on shift number 2. Don't do that. It's a recipe for disaster. That's an easy one. Tables are not that expensive nowadays, so you can get creative. You can add bar stools. You can do like little islands. You can have the coffee tables that like pull up. I've seen some huge ones that you could probably fit 3 or 4 people around that coffee table that lifts up. Another common one is coffee makers versus Keurig. That is, once again, let's stick to this 10 example, right? You got a property that hosts 10 people. Do you think 10 people are going to want to make 10 different Keurig individual pods? Probably not. Like a big coffee maker pot coffee will probably make more sense there, because you can just make a huge pot and call it a day. Now, the gold standard would be to have both, right? Well, actually, a golder standard would be pot coffee, Keurig coffee, and also like tea or hot chocolate or decaf. Like you can go above and beyond. But for me, if I'm hosting like the bare minimum, 10 people at my property, having at least a pot coffee is going to be needed. Amenities, toilet paper, I think we do like 2 or 3 rolls per bathroom. Paper towels, we do provide coffee, filters, things like that. Body wash, shampoo, lotion. We try to kind of match that hotel standard. Towels, obviously, bath mats, kitchen, like hand towels, things like that are standard. Our cleaners handle all that for us, which is nice. Less work on us. But yeah, I think that's probably enough about the amenities. All right, question number 3. Once again, we've got 6 people watching. Drop your 7. Let's go, baby. See if we can get double digits. Drop your questions. Quit being a lurker. Let's see if I can. Never actually commented on this, so hopefully everybody saw that. Drop your questions. All right, what do you charge your commission on? So I got this question actually right before the call. I was talking to a student, is what do you charge your commission on? So this was from a property management commission. So is it on accommodation? Is it on cleaning? Is it on pet fee, like early check-in? Like at what point what do you charge your commission on? So for us, we charge our commission on the gross amount that we get paid, aka our owners get paid. So like 20%. If we get $1,000 in in whatever, we're charging $200 in commission. So it's a flat amount. Simple for accounting, bookkeeping, owner statements. It's easier. Now, I think some hosts / investors have maybe a question about, why would you charge your commission on a cleaning fee, right? Who coordinates the cleaners? Who checks after the cleaners? Who is making sure that they're showing up on time? When they have feedback, who's communicating with them? We're managing that cleaner. It's one of our vendors. So I think it makes sense for us to charge a commission on that. Early check-in. Who's communicating with the guest? Early check-in. Okay. Sometimes it's a couple of days go back and forth before we get an early check-in approved, making sure our cleaners can accommodate it. We block the night. Like it's a lot of admin work to essentially accommodate that $100 early check-in fee. So we do it off the gross amount, and I think everybody should. I think it makes sense once you put a couple examples here. All right. So one more question. All right, Carla, I appreciate you participating. The other 7 people in here, come on, you're better than that. All right. What are good ways to automate if you only have one property and self-manage? What are good ways to automate? Automate what specifically? Is there a specific part of the operations that you're referring to, Carla? I think, you know, property management system is probably the easiest way to like automate things. Like for example, automated messages. That may be what you're mentioning, Carla. Like if a guest books, then we automatically have 7 or so messages um, that go out. One at booking, one a day later to do their check-in form, a day later, like doing all that. It's in the rental agreement, yada yada yada. Okay, communication cleaners. All right, sweet. Yep. So property management system. Airbnb actually does have like the auto messages feature, and I think it's pretty good. I've never personally used it just because we've had a management system since day one. Hopefully, it didn't rain on me. Communication. So communication. Do you mean communication with the guest or like your team members? I'll answer both. Communication with the guests, same thing. I always like to have a unified inbox. So if I'm listed on Airbnb, Booking.com, and Vrbo, I want all of those messages to go into one unified inbox. And having a property management system is the only way that I've found to do it versus like checking 3 different apps and making sure they're all integrated. Sounds like a nightmare. But with one property, probably not that much work. Communicating with cleaners. I think this is a good one. We use Slack. Slack is, I love it. I love it and hate it at the same time. It is very effective and easy to use. I think those are the 2 things that are needed with a communication tool. Like if you've got something that is hard to use, it's hard to communicate, it's hard to get feedback, it's hard to, tag people and get their attention. That'd be what I would use. I still use it to this day. And surprise, surprise, I have yet to pay for Slack. We don't see any need to have the paid version. We talk to our cleaners, our internal team, all of our internal communication goes through there. For co-host, all of our clients are in there as well. So if we need something from them, we'll just, have a point of contact for their property and at them and say, hey, I got this question. I don't have any documentation with it. Can you assist me, for example? So I would use Slack 1,000%. Carla, great question. Any ways to automate one property and self-manage? Yeah, I think hopefully that answered any of those. If that didn't answer, Carla, let me know. All right. New Way Vacation Rental. Welcome. Do you inspect properties before each guest? So we used to do it more. Now we do it less. So we ran a stat. Man, we used to do it like 75% of the time. So what I mean by that is for people that don't know what inspect properties mean, we're a property management company. Of course, we're inspecting properties. But I think the question here from New Way is so when a guest checks out, cleaners go in and then the next guest checks in, right? What we've done is I don't truly believe that's the best way to manage properties. We spend a lot of time and effort and labor into inspecting properties after our cleaners. Cleaners they're great, but they're not going to walk a property like a guest. You might have somebody that is really talented, but if when you get 20, 30, 40 properties, it's a volume game. So can't go to every property, right? We've kind of picked and choose and put a process depending on property, but we used to go like out of every 3 to 4 cleans, we're going after our cleaners and inspecting and doing maintenance and changing air filters, batteries, things like that, making sure dishes are clean. Like, let's see, air filters, changing batteries, making sure all the TVs are linked up to the internet, making sure the internet's working, doing all those kind of admin work that really isn't a cleaner's job. So, that's kind of how we've done it. Now I would probably say, I haven't looked at the report in a while. I would probably say we're going to maybe 40% of our, after each guest, we're inspecting that property. Now, this is um, regular turnover inspections. We also do like quarterly inspections that our area manager go to, and then me and my business partner actually go to as well, just to make sure like nothing major is missed. Because what you'll have is, if you have the same cleaner going in and out of a property, they know the property, but they also kind of get blind to some of the things at the property. Like they're like, oh yeah, this door's like never worked. It's like, whoa, hang on, like that's not good. Why? When did this break? But they kind of get used to it. So sometimes having a new cleaner or a new inspector to a property is really valuable. Great question. Favorite way to find new co-hosting clients. I love this. I'm going to plug it again because it is super valuable. Jump in, scan this QR code. Hopefully it's not too far on the bottom. I don't know if I can change the portrait. I did this one in portrait mode just to see if anybody had any additional kind of feedback. I feel like a lot of people watch on portrait. But where'd that question go? Best way to find, so in the Launchpad, in the free program, hopefully you scanned it. Let me know if you didn't get it in time. There is how to get new management, new co-host leads. I break it down fully. It's free. Go take it, run with it. It's a pretty simple process. I actually was talking to a gentleman earlier today. I think probably the easiest way is to like go to networking events. It's not sexy. It's not going to get you rich quick. It's a long game. Talk to realtors, talk to investors, just get in the rooms. Another thing that I did that I found very, very successful, which is once again, a lot of kind of free labor, hard work to just grinding, is I would offer free property analysis to real estate agents because they already had a Rolodex of real estate investors, right? Like we didn't have to, I'm not going out and talking to real estate investors. If I could go to a real estate agent who's got 100 investors, that's a better leveraged activity. So I did a full training on what to do, how to do it, how I did it. And it is very valuable. The bad news, it just takes time. It takes time. The easiest way to get new co-hosting is just start posting content just like this. I'm talking about Airbnb and short-term rentals and things like that. Like you're watching it. People that aren't watching it will watch it on the replay. And then when people think of Airbnb, they're going to think of me, right? They're going to see this, even if it's a real estate agent that they've watched, 6 videos and they don't have an investor. When somebody says it, they're like, oh, wait, Caleb, he talks about Airbnb all the time. Let me send you his number. There is a really, really cool study. It's called the 7-11-4 rule. And I might butcher this, but it's like for somebody to trust you, it's like 7 hours worth of content they need to spend with you. Like now, you guys have spent 30 minutes with me. I appreciate it. It's super valuable. Thank you. 7-11-4, 7 hours worth of content, 11 touch points. So like 11 pieces of content. And then on 4 different platforms. I think that's it. I think it's 4 platforms. So like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, email, like maybe it's an advertisement on TikTok, like whatever it is, the 7-11-4 rule. That is the easiest way to get new co-host clients, is put yourself out there. It's very uncomfortable when you get in rooms where you don't belong. That's how you grow. It should feel uncomfortable. So I think that's how I did it. It's not quick. It's not something that you're gonna wake up tomorrow and be like, oh, I've got 10 new co-hosting clients. I say all that to say, this is a very good question. I really, really appreciate it. I would say the lowest hanging fruit is people you already know, like friends, family, people that already know who you are. You don't have to build trust with those people. They already trust you. It's just can you prove value and show them that you know what you're doing with co-hosting that property, for example, or property management, or helping them, set up their listing the right way. So I personally think the easiest way is just putting out content, talking about whatever you want to do, like talking about co-hosting. What's an experience this week? I think that's probably the best and easiest way. If you just do that for a year, you will have plenty of business to go around. Bienvenida project. Thank you. That's a good question. All right, let me grab maybe 1, 2 pretty quick, and then we'll jump off. You guys are rock stars. Any tips on trash services for local folks? Carla, thank you. This is the Carla show, getting some one-on-one, which is great. Thank you. So, any tips for trash services? So, we used to ask the guest to put the trash at the curb and then back. The problem was, if a guest wasn't there on like Tuesday when trash day was, the stuff doesn't get to the road. You miss trash, and then it's a headache. You got dogs in it, and you're paying 4 times to pick up this trash. So we do a valet trash service at all of our properties. What I mean by that is we pay a company to actually, at this Airbnb I'm at here in Florida, a guy came last night to pull the bins from the house to the road, and then back again this morning after the city came and put them back by the house. So that's what I would do. I think we're paying maybe $55 a month, something like that, maybe 50-ish, but it's $10 a week, something like that, $12 a week. It's well worth it. Any tips on local trash service? So we used to use Bin Better. They recently got sold to, I think, Fido in Charlotte. I think it's FIDO. And yeah, so we just keep it with them. Shook up like Your City valet trash service. Facebook groups are honestly a huge way, an easy way to find that out as well. If you're like, let's say you're co-hosting in Tampa, Florida, and you live in Charlotte, Tampa real estate investors, and just post in there, hey, is there a company that can take my trash to and from the road every week? There should be plenty of those. All right, so we talked about charging commission. We'll rock with this last one, and we'll jump off. So if you've got a quick question, comments, let's go. Remitting taxes for direct bookings. So I think the question was around who's supposed to remit these taxes for a direct booking. It really depends on 2 things: the money, how does the money flow, and who is merchant of record. And I'll explain what those mean. How does the money flow? So if I'm managing a property on behalf of someone else, and I get the money, I take my commission, pay the bills, then disperse the rest, the money flows through me. So it would be my job to remit any taxes for Airbnb, Vrbo, direct booking, any of them. Just keep it simple. Now, if the money flows through your investor and you're just co-hosting and you just invoice them at month end, that's their responsibility, because they're actually the one getting the taxes from the guest. So question 1's, how does the money flow? 2's like merchant of record. So merchant of record is just a fancy way of saying like who's processing the payment. Airbnb handles all this for you. Say most of the people here probably just Airbnb only. They do all the hard work for you. Vrbo handles a little bit different. Caveat to that is if you have an API integrated management software like Guesty, Hostaway, Lodgify, some of those, the management company is probably the merchant of record, aka they're collecting the taxes, and then you would need to remit those, whoever collects those. If you use Hospitable is, I think, the only management system that Vrbo still collects those for them. I don't know how they did it, but Vrbo collects it for them just like Airbnb. So you don't have to do anything with that. It doesn't matter who's collecting the money, since they're the merchant of record. Direct booking, for that, you would need to do it because it's direct. It's going through your Stripe account, your payment processor, and you would need to remit those. So kind of a complicated answer, it seems, but I think if you answer those two questions, you should get to that point. All right, let's jump off here. Thank you. You guys are rock stars. If there's any other questions, we're going to be doing this every Wednesday at 6 o'clock, and